I'm here with Elsa and Bella, filmmaker. Elsa, one of the lead actresses from the film, growing up fat and Albanian. You're the lead actress, I should say.
I'm the supporting.
You're a support actress, yeah, but
we're both
majors in it. It's the major parts in the film, so congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to London.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Elsa, if you could give us a brief synopsis of the film, please.
Absolutely. It's actually a Cinderella tale told from a Balkan perspective of a young woman just trying not to lose her family, but trying to follow her heart in the process. And if anyone is familiar with a dysfunctional family or a family that
I'm the youngest of 7. I know dysfunctional.
So there you go. It's a universal theme. So when you kind of try to stand out on your own and have your own voice, and you have this conflict, and just, especially in today's world, as being a woman, I find it's something even more difficult to stand your ground. And it's a movie about how this young woman navigates her life from childhood to teenagehood to adulthood with her formidable, I don't want to call her opponent, but auntie, who really represents the ideology of the old world. So
the previous generation plus
the
all
previous generation and the cultural belief and ideology that it's better to stick to your own kind, it's better to kind of be safe than sorry, and both are two headstrong women. So the movie really is about finding your way on your own terms without you losing your family in the process. So we've been able to combine drama and comedy because, as I said, it's such a universal theme that every family is dysfunctional in its own way.
Go on, sorry, and we should point out that you know this culture inside out.
Yes.
This is what's really important. It's not a kind of fish out of the water, you know, what am I doing? This is in your bones, if you don't mind me saying.
It is partly my story. Not everything has happened to me in the story. Even though there are heightened moments of drama, they have happened to people that I know.
Yeah.
So I combine them to tell my story. But it's definitely my journey, feeling like an outsider in America, even though I was raised and born in America, but of being of Albanian descent. So there's always this disconnect. What am I? Where do I fit in? And then when you throw in the dysfunctional family that doesn't know where they fit in America, it makes for a very interesting movie, to say the least.
Are you living the American dream? And that sounds really patronising. What I mean by that is, when you hear these stories of immigrants that have gone to the US, and people talk whatever the American dream is, I don't know what the answer to that is, but to me it's someone that has come from another culture and driven themselves, either for their family, their own volition, I don't know, to be successful. So would that be a fair representation of what you think you are as a person?
As you said, it varies for different people and different generations, and mobility today in America is extremely hard without getting political. But having said that, I do think I'm living the American dream, that I've been given opportunities that my parents weren't had they stayed in the former Yugoslavia, Montenegro. They came here for a better life, not so much as for themselves. And the movie really is a love story about my father's struggle. So they came here to give their children an opportunity for mobility through their own hard work and ambition. And if America does anything, it really rattles that in your bones. You really have to work hard to succeed if you're not a Kardashian. So for the most of us, we try to do that. So I do think, in essence, I feel like I've been given an opportunity to pursue my American dream.
And I hope this applies to both of them. I hope you don't understand. This is a compliment, I promise. For those that don't know, we've met before, of course, so I've got, I hope, a pretty good understanding of the kind of people you own, which is very nice. But you're both seem very driven, and that is a compliment. And the reason I mention this is, you've got to kind of be in this industry, haven't you?
100%.
Because you're never gonna get anywhere, and that kind of, and I hope you agree. And
I 1000% agree with you.
And that kind of neatly leads me on to, you are a very good example of the push and drive you need to promote a film. And I know we've spoken off camera because you've already told me how well it's been selling on Amazon. And if you can explain that in a moment, but perhaps I can explain that actually I suspect you both have had to do some incredible work to get your head above the parapet in order for that to be facilitated. Does that kind of make sense?
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, you know, social media in the world that we live in today is something you have to be cognizant of and on top of.
But you've got to do it. You've got to drive it.
You've got to do it. You've got to hire your PR people. You've got to hire people that you trust. Even in your movie, Bella came to me kind of kismet. We had already cast the actress, and it wasn't meant to be. She had conflicts, and I tell everyone the story that when Bella walked in the room, she wasn't what we were looking for. So this is the beauty of never knowing. The Aunt Shirley that I grew up with, I happen to be fair and blonde. Most Albanians tend to look like actually you.
Handsome.
Very handsome.
Very handsome.
Very handsome.
Absolutely. And dashing. And dark, on the darker side. So the auntie really was the antithesis of me, the dark hair and just the golden skin. So Bella walked in, and the first thing that I heard was the
clipped British accent.
Yes, I was going to say the arrogant British accent.
Oh,
but
my.
The clipped.
No, but she's got a clipped accent. Nice, a lovely accent.
It's just lovely. And she walked in in a haughty little tone. She's like, hello, and had the sides. And it was
but Bella, I can
fine.
hear you saying
oh,
this.
right. But
I can.
But she walked in as a professional, put her stuff down, and had gotten the sides the night before. And we were so exhausted, and we knew she wasn't right in terms of what we were looking for. Put the head down. Hi, how are you? Thank you. Okay, Bella, go ahead and read. And so again, I remember writing something, and the first words that she uttered, and note to any striving actor, nail them with the first word. When you open your mouth, if you have them at hello, to quote Harry Maguire or whatever,
I agree. I totally
Jerry
agree.
Maguire, you've got them. So both my producer Kelly Kirkland and my co-director didn't even look at each other, but I could feel the tingles go up my arm because the next sentence and the next sentence and the next sentence, and there was no questions in anyone's mind that we had found our Aunt Shirley. So it's
Very
the beauty
interesting.
of being surprised and someone really doing their work.
Yes, I mean, I know it's not related to what you're talking about, but I've done lots of job interviews and I know within 30 seconds. Honestly, I can,
Absolutely.
if they've got a chance. I don't know what it is. People ask me, I can't explain what it is, but you just know. I know if they're spinning me a line, if they're not right for the role, or whatever. Because first impressions, sadly, or not sadly, but factually do matter.
Right.
And if someone doesn't nail it quick, I've lost interest.
Yep.
And I'd imagine it's very similar to what you're talking about with Bella. Suddenly she said one word, and you're like, we've got it.
We've got it.
She's there.
She's there. She's ours. Yeah.
So yeah, can you give us an idea what's been happening, I think with Amazon in particular,
Yeah.
because you've had some phenomenal success.
Well, right now we have a distribution deal. So Bill and I are plugging the movie. Yes, that's what I do. Okay, and it is available on www.fatalbanian.com, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Best Buy, anywhere where DVDs are sold. At this point, the first outing sold out, and it was really funny on social media. I think Bella had bought a copy, but we have quite a few thousand fans out there. So then there was like this war of like, I've got the last copy. No, I just ordered the last copy. Yes. So I have the little exchange between our fans on Facebook, but it has been reissued and reordered, so it is available. Just go to our site, or like I said, Amazon, and press the click, and there you go.
It's on its way.
And we have behind the scenes stuff, interviews at the Manhattan Film Festival where we did win Best Featurette and Best Song. And we have clips of interviews with us as well. So there are bonus features in the movie as well.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah.
Now Bella, you've, I know, done other things, done theatre, and I'm sure you worked in other films, but you've kind of, has this been like another journey you've ever done? Because you've been here, obviously you're supporting film, but is that atypical of what you do, or is this a little bit different from the kind of promotion you'd normally do for a role?
Well, I've never promoted a movie in this way.
Well, no, this is what I'm asking. I guess the answer is no, you haven't.
Well, you know, I was telling you earlier, I worked in corporate life for 20 years
Yeah.
because I had children and I worked as a graphic designer.
By the way,
Brilliant designer.
By the
I
way-
should have framed the question differently, actually.
No, okay, sorry.
But you know what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is,
Yes.
you know, I know you've
So
done
this
other
is a new
acting.
beginning for me,
a new
act. I mean,
beginning,
I
yeah.
used to act, then I
Yeah.
stopped, and I became a graphic designer just by chance, really.
Stunning graphic designer.
Absolutely.
Jaw
Who
dropping.
designed our
No,
poster?
actually, you're very. I'll tell you, you're very. We're going to a beast here. When it comes to doing design work, what we crave when we put a magazine together, is we ask someone to supply something, even if it's an amendment or whatever. The worst thing they can do is take time to do it. We understand, of course, but you were very, very, very quick.
No, I'm quick.
Yeah.
And if that's what you need, because there might be enhancement adjustments, and that's what we. It's impossible to say to someone, or to be too pushy. So it's difficult, but at the end of the day, you know what we need,
Right.
and we don't care if you have 100 minutes. I couldn't care less. What we want is you to supply the right copy that you're happy with.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful is that you two actually did turn around very, very quickly. It was, so you've done very well. No, but truly, very well done for that.
It was funny that time I wrote and I said, I'm doing it,
Yes,
because
we
there was
were
a
back-
thought that I disappeared and I said, no, I'm doing it,
but
I
she
can't
was so
write, I'm doing it.
overwhelmed, and she'd already done so much for me. But the email exchange, just so the audience knows, between the three of us was quite funny. Because
was
I'm like,
funny.
Steve, it's not happening. And then this one
Yeah,
chimes
but
in
10
with,
minutes later,
no.
well, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah. You're like, no, it's being done. It's
I'm
being
too
done
busy
right
to
now."
talk.
Because I'm doing the better stuff. So that's the way we operate. So, yeah.
Okay, and honestly, you've genuinely done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me, I suppose, you probably know what I'm getting at here. In terms of promotion, have you, I guess the way I should have asked it is, as intricately involved in this, because you are there, quite right, to support Elsa, of course, but I would imagine, it's difficult for me to see outside the festivals, but I would imagine promotion per se with films, whatever films, you probably don't get this kind of support with other films that people are doing. Does that kind of make sense?
No.
So you're really helping to push it.
I hope so. I
No,
hope
you
I-
are. Of course you are. I mean, the fact you're here and then you've got one of the main roles.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I guess that's sort of been a bit of a roller coaster.
Yes.
A nice roller coaster.
Yes, it's
not
been
yeah.
wonderful. It's a totally new experience.
So how does it all sort of panned out? I mean, what's been? I know you said it's an amazing experience, but what about it has been so incredible?
Well, just to be involved, to see how a movie is promoted and what you have to do, and learning about festivals and learning about festivals.
Yeah.
Don't know really.
I'm not trying to get you on the spot, but you did say something very interesting again off camera, and we're talking randomly about getting to a certain age, and we were talking about how it's very different now as opposed to my parents, where once you got to 40 or 50, you're kind of, it's an awful thing to say, I don't say washed up, that's not what I mean.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say very badly is how things have changed massively, haven't they?
That you can
Yeah,
reinvent
that you
yourself.
carry on, you said
Yeah,
that's a really
absolutely.
brilliant way of
Yeah,
putting
that's
it.
great.
And chances which you're given at a particular moment of time later, you would never have happened 20 or
No,
30 years
right,
ago.
never.
But now people see past it and go, yeah, it doesn't matter, I don't give a shit, they're 40 or 50 or 60 or whatever. If they're capable of doing it and they've got the drive and the wish and,
And the energy.
And the energy, yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And what I've noticed in other projects I'm doing, that you have to be cross-generational. You have to be able to
Yes.
talk to everyone.
Right.
From all backgrounds and all ages, and you have to be willing to sometimes be humble and learn from the young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find that.
Yeah.
Well, my kids order me about.
Yeah, but that's absolutely right. I think
Yeah.
you're spot on. You've
Yeah.
got to, and that's a hard thing to crack, because woe betide the filmmaker that's trying to. I know you have niche films. I know you have films that are for a particular genre, but the truth is, I suspect that you need to be as all-encompassing as possible.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're not probably going to be as successful.
Yeah.
Because you want to try and encourage. And I'm not, actually, I can use your film as a typical example. This is aimed at all kinds of generations, isn't
Right.
it? You know,
Yeah, it
and-
is cross-generational. Yeah. Yeah.
And where after this? What's happening? You know, I know you're doing very well with the sales, and
Yeah.
that's all going really well. I hope it's better than you thought, or at least as good as you hoped it would be.
I exceeded, my own wildest expectations, because I didn't know, like Bella, in terms of the filmmaking process. So it was trial by fire, as they say. And I didn't expect the distribution deal. I didn't expect the accolades with 19 festivals, 9 awards, globally around the world, and it resonating with people. And as a filmmaker, I think that's what you want. So what I had initially done was written the full length, but I know I needed a calling card.
Yeah, this is like proof of concept kind of thing,
Exactly.
isn't it? Initially,
and
yeah.
the way I've ended it, we screened it at Tribeca twice, both times sold out, and so we always have a Q&A. And the way the movie ends, and we've seen it, is it leaves you on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, because you can, yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen next. So we get that question in the audience: what happens to her, or what happens? And my follow-up is simply watch the full length. So what we're doing now is working on the full length feature. We go into pre-production right after this festival in February and March, and we at this point hope to shoot the film late September, seasonally in New York, and get it out for 2019.
Oh, best of luck. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say, because you talked about the theme at the beginning, and there's something to add to the theme, if you would allow. In this time of
Only Brits say that, if you would allow us. I love that. That is such a British thing. I love that.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean,
it's great. As a Brit, it's great to hear. In fact, sorry, I'm going off piece here yesterday. I said to these two American girls who got this comedy here, and I said to them, life is like a movie, and I said to them, I can't remember what the question was, and I said, oh, that must have been devilishly difficult. And they went, oh, what a beautiful phrase, we're going to use that. So anyway, sorry, carry on.
Well, in this time of mass migration, with people transplanting themselves everywhere, there's a real poignancy with how much do you fit in, how much do you hold back, what do you long for in your past country that you will never get again. Even if you were to go back 20 years later, it's no longer the same. So this sense of being transplanted and holding on to something that's too painful to let go of, and yet you have to move on. I think that's also what the film's about. No?
I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, it's a lovely way of looking at it. I think you're right.
Thank you.
Now,
and my parents were immigrants. So
I think we talked about this. Well, my mother was South African.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Mum was South African.
My best friends are South African, actually. Yeah.
And the only way that my father's in the Royal Navy, and he was stationed all over. He was stationed in Cape. In fact, my father was actually at the Christmas island, the nuclear tests. It was one of the
Really?
So, it was it. But he met my mother when he was stationed in Cape Town. And obviously she's Afrikaans, and then they moved. So I am
Afrikaans, half Afrikaans.
Wow.
Yeah. So and I think we might talk about this before. And obviously it really riles when I hear people talk about this awful right-wing xenophobia, which really gets under my skin. But actually, if we all look back 2 or 3 generations, we're all immigrants, really, aren't we?
Of course.
Because I dare say if I went back 2 or 3 generations, my father's side, I'd never have done. My surname's Grossman. That's kind of possibly Jewish or German. So there must be
Of course.
I can't go back that far.
Do 23andMe or Ancestry.com.
No, it's never really. It's never really. No,
you don't want to?
No, not really flown my
It's
boat.
fascinating.
I bet it is.
It's just, you're shocked. One is shocked.
You're like, oh, yeah. So the point is that we're all immigrants, really.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really good way to describe what this film's about.
Yeah.
So just finally, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but if I said to you, I want you to shoot that exact same film, I don't want anything changed, you've got the same budget, but could you do it in less time, knowing what you know now in terms of making a film? So if that took 6 weeks to make, could you do it in half the time or whatever? Because you learn as you make, don't you?
Right.
Could you not cut corners, but where the mistakes were, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
I know where the mistakes were. We have a way bigger budget that we're aiming for the full length, because it is a bit more all-encompassing. It takes us through the journey of where we leave her to kind of the end of her journey. I don't think I would do anything different with this one, because I did have, no offense, I had a male editor who's lovely. Thank you, Frank Reynolds. It was a beautiful job you did. And a co-director who was male, and they felt splicing certain pieces of Bella's emotion, and we're talking seconds here, that would have cost me budget-wise that I could have shaved off. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep the dimension and the character and the essence. So I don't think I would change anything in terms of making it shorter, and I'm the type of person, perhaps it's the thick-headed Balkan in me, or my background, where I know what I like, and I'm going to stick to my guns, and if you don't like it, I don't care.
No, and I think, do you know what? Without being funny, it's your film.
Right.
You call the shots, don't you?
Right. But what I do as a filmmaker is I also, at every screening, I'm the one in the back, not necessarily laughing, watching the reactions of where I thought it should stay.
The points are,
And I know where I'm good at in terms of the emotion. So I know I did a good job, because had I gone in that direction, I feel like we would have lost that essence and made my character one-dimensional, Bella's character one-dimensional, and I wasn't looking for a sitcom. I was really looking for a drama and a blend of comedy. And once people see that, they understand it. So I don't think I could change, I wouldn't change anything. I wish I could have had more money, but you
And
know,
more time.
And more time.
It's always the two things. Isn't it?
Always the thing, the time. You know, so that's why when you know better, as Oprah Winfrey says, you do better.
Your next president, you mean?
Yes, yes,
Hopefully.
yes,
Maybe. Oh,
yes.
should say that. I've got to be non-political.
But again, going forward, we have a bigger budget, and we're looking forward to that, to taking the story forward. But it'll be a new movie, so it's kind of like a new beginning. But we're very thrilled with how well we kind of knocked it out of the park with this one. And dare say, I just want to add one last thing. All the men that contributed that were wonderful. We have an outstanding lead male character. But you know, I'm pretty proud of the fact that our team was really well-rounded in terms of our first AD was a female, my co-producer is a female, so we had a really nice team, and it's wonderful to see when men and women work together in the industry, and it's not so much as dominated by one vision.
Thank you, that's great. You know, you kind of are a poster person for how you can do a short film, push it to become really successful to go into a bigger project. It's, you know, it's bloody tough, and I know a lot of filmmakers, and they would, you know, chop their right arms off to do that. So,
Well,
but it
thank
has
you.
to be the way that you've done it. Otherwise, because that is a really good example of how you can do it really well. And I know filmmakers are driven people, but you've got to be driven, haven't you? You've got to be super driven and really make it your vision to get it
I
done.
think that's important.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Because it may have been that you made, I mean, this is my opinion, it may have been that maybe another person, imagine if another person had made this and it had been made exactly the same way, but maybe they wouldn't have marketed as well. Maybe they wouldn't have made the right connections, and then maybe the bigger project wouldn't get made. You don't know,
Exactly.
but I suspect it wouldn't have happened.
I agree with you.
You know, because you've got to, I don't know how many meetings you've had, millions or thousands of meetings, or you've phone calls, and you want people to see this project, and that's ultimately led, however you've done it, to get to the end, which not the end being making a bigger version of this.
Right.
Because you've both done something that's made that happen.
Yeah.
And God knows what that is, but obviously it's a really good example of how you've got to drive it to make it happen.
Well, thank you. I think we both make a good tag team, and our hashtag is Ella and Bella. So wherever you see that hashtag, you know it's Auntie and me. Sometimes I get confused.
Sometimes she calls me mummy.
But it's interchangeable. We're all good with that, because that's the role she kind of functions in now. So,
Thank
Mummy,
you.
Auntie.
Thank you very much. And a
Thank you
great
so
Mickey
much.
take of a British accent. I do like that. Very good.
I try.
Thank you.